Hello, this is Jerry again, here to discuss Benocracy. This video, in a sense, is a pacifistic call to arms. I want to use two parallels, two similes to tell you where I think we stand today. Imagine that the enemy is at the gate. Imagine that your country is about to be invaded from all sides. What if you're fit, strong and able would you do? What would you expect those around you to do? Would you fight? What would you expect your fellow countrymen and women to do? Could you imagine everyone, including yourself, just saying, well, there's nothing we can really do about it. You just surrender yourselves to your fate. Another parallel, and this is a hypothetical situation that I hope none of you ever find yourself in. Say you receive a cancer diagnosis. Some in this position will be told that treatment should be successful. Some will be told, unfortunately, there will be a tougher fight. Either way, what would you do? I think most would fight. Many in this position will have a family that they need to survive for. They will have responsibilities. They will just want to live. They will want to hold on. Of course, what I'm trying to parallel is, can I call it, the fact that our democracies, our societies, our climate are all on their knees, all at the moment under attack. This may not be the first Benocracy video that you're watching. I find it difficult to be apologetic when I seem to be a little repetitive when discussing Benocracy. But this consistency of thought, I feel, consolidates Benocracy as a strong and viable strategy. And strategy is the important word here. If going back to my first parallel, a strategy is in place, a fight back has a chance. And my second parallel, the oncologist will have a very definite strategy of treatment. Is my imagination too fertile when I say that we, the normal man in the street, is under attack? Am I a little or very paranoid? Obviously, I don't think so. There are too many signs. And signs, I believe, is too weak a word for it. There are too many examples of greed and avaricious behaviour from governments, corporations, banks, etc. These are the institutions that are in charge now. Perhaps less so governments. The only one of these that should hold the reins are the governments. But in our current political climate in various countries, governments have allowed themselves to succumb to the influences of these other institutions. For recommended viewing and listening, if you want to see the troubles that I believe we're in today, watch The Social Dilemma, watch The Spider's Web, listen to The Coming Storm on BBC Sounds. I could go on. At this stage, I don't really want to watch anymore. I don't watch a lot of current affairs programs on TV anymore. As I've said before, we must accept now that things are wrong and must step up and do something practical about it. Enough rhetoric, it's time for action. So that's why we need to rise up. Now, what about the bottom line? Show me the money. Benocracy is going nowhere without financial support. So the $64,000 question, as we used to say, and I suppose it used to say $64,000 question because I had a lot of money back then, but is, where are the readies coming from? Look up benevolent billionaires or philanthropists in Google. I looked at the first 5 names and saw written below it 17 rows. There are a lot of good people out there. Warren Buffett thinks it is wrong that the guy who cleans his pool pays the same tax rates as him. Many other hyper wealthy people feel the same way. Yes, there are lots of space cowboys out there, people who spend their riches on traveling to space, and Elon Musk thinks we've got to colonize Mars, etc. Look, wealthy people have a right to spend as they want. I'm not judgmental. They earn the money, they have a right to spend as they want. I do believe it could be spent in better ways, but listen, let's not be judgmental here. I believe that if Benocracy can enter the public consciousness and be seen as a force for good, support will be forthcoming. I just read yesterday that Sadio Mane, the Senegalese footballer, ex-Liverpool, now Bayern Munich, was unapologetic when someone asked him how he could walk around with a cracked screen on his phone. Sadio Mane helps build hospitals, schools back home in Senegal. He also gives money to, I think, everyone in his village every month to support them. There are good people out there. He thinks he would much prefer to spend his money this way than replacing his phone. To stay with football players, Didier Drogba, Ivory Coast, ex-Chelsea, helps build schools and hospitals in his country. And some feel that his actions and the actions of his fellow footballers, when they qualified for the World Cup a number of years ago, helped stop the civil war in his country. People can do extraordinary things if they try, if they ask. I think that if we give good people, potential Democratic Party members, candidates, and funders a strategy, this can gain momentum. This can be the democratic revolution that we need to subvert the subversion of Benocracy that is endemic in many countries today. Maybe one of the problems is that many do not see this possible collapse of democracy or societies as clear and present a danger as an invasion or a cancer diagnosis. To me, it is just as real. It is just as dangerous. Look at our economies. On their knees at the moment. But the natural progression of economies should look like waves on a graph. They should ebb and flow. Recessions in a well-run economy run in a less selfish and malevolent a manner should not be feared. Economies should heat and cool, not too hot, not too cold. Intelligent leaders know this. Intelligent leaders would not hype up economies and miss out on the recession that should happen. They'd let it cool the way it should cool and would not let greed take control. There is an attitude, and I hope that it is realistic, that after a time this current recession will pass and economies will climb back. This is probable, but even if and when we recover, there's something else going on here, something more egregious, something more malign. When economies rise, the normal man on the street can do well, can prosper. And so do the wealthy, super wealthy, hyper wealthy. When economies dive, it is always the normal man on the street who takes the hit. Wealthy may do okay, hyper wealthy will clean up. They will clean up and take it all. Incrementally, each one of these cycles of recession, recovery, makes the 1%, 2%, maybe 3% more wealthy and poorer people poorer. It also pulls people in the middle of the wealth scale closer to hazard, towards the poverty line. Some think that these recessions, even the current scenario we all find ourselves in, are created by the powers that be to enrich themselves. This is verging on conspiracy theory. It's quite cynical. But cynicism is very valid in a cynical world, especially when addressing the subject of cynical, egregious people who are building cynical and egregious systems. I always welcome debate on Benocracy, and many say that it can't work. They may be right. I can see why it might not work. But can the invaded citizenship from our first parallel afford this attitude? Can our unfortunate patient and our second parallel afford to capitulate? It is imperative that all three parties, the invaded citizenship, the cancer sufferer, and us, we must adopt the Cork fisherman's adage, fail we may, sail we must. Our backs are to the wall here. As I write this and prepare this video, I'm glad to say that I'm looking forward to the very first meeting of a Benocratic group. In about 2 weeks from now, the end of August 2022. 5 or 6 of us are meeting to discuss the concept. Wish us luck from Small Seeds, etc. These people are enthusiastic people who want to make the world a better place. And I'm looking forward to spending time with positive and selfless people. We do not intend to spend time discussing how wrong things are. We will adopt Socrates' adage. The adage that suggests that we must look forward. We must look to the future. We must not focus on what has been done wrong in the past, but focus on what we can do right in the future. Again, wish us luck. And do the same. I'm looking forward to this meeting. These people are intelligent, focused people who don't want to complain, don't want to gripe, like most of us do every day. Please meet up with these people, organise something over a coffee, online, whatever, preferably face to face. It's the way to do it. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thanks for indulging me. All the best and go for it. Thank you.